The Earth was dying. Cities, once towering symbols of human achievement, were now crumbling relics, slowly being consumed by the encroaching jungle. Vicious vines, mutated by the Werpanot curse, snaked through concrete canyons, tearing apart the last vestiges of civilization. The air, thick with the stench of decay and the metallic tang of blood, was almost unbreathable. The Werpanot, those horrifying creatures born of a long-forgotten genetic experiment gone wrong, roamed the shattered streets. These were no ordinary monsters. They were a grotesque fusion of human and piranha, driven by an insatiable hunger for flesh. Their razor-sharp teeth, capable of stripping a man to the bone in seconds, glinted menacingly in the perpetual twilight. For the Werpanot were not merely a plague upon humanity, they were a plague upon the world itself. The curse that had birthed them had poisoned the very fabric of reality, twisting the planet's climate into a chaotic mess of toxic storms and gravitational anomalies. The once predictable seasons were gone, replaced by a terrifying unpredictability. One day, the sun would bake the earth with unbearable heat. The next torrential rain would flood the streets, only to be followed by a sudden frost that encased everything in a thick layer of ice. Survival had become a desperate struggle, with each new dawn bringing the threat of a grisly death. The few remaining humans lived in fear, clinging to the shattered remnants of their former lives. They huddled together in makeshift shelters, venturing out only when absolutely necessary, always on the lookout for the telltale splash of a Werpanot fin slicing through the murky water that now flooded the streets. Hope, it seemed, was as dead as the world around them. Even the heavens offered no escape. The moon, once a beacon of hope in the night sky, now hung like a bloody, accusing eye. Its silvery surface, once a symbol of purity and tranquility, was stained crimson, a gruesome testament to the Werpanot's insatiable hunger. For the curse that ravaged the Earth had spread beyond the confines of the planet, reaching out to claim the moon as well. Space, once the final frontier, was now a battleground. The Werpanot, their bodies somehow adapted to the vacuum of space, waged war amongst the stars, their screeches echoing through the emptiness. The moon, caught in the crossfire, became a lunar graveyard, its surface littered with the wreckage of spaceships and the mangled remains of those unlucky enough to get caught in the conflict. The few remaining space stations, once bustling hubs of interstellar trade and cooperation, were now armed fortresses, their inhabitants living in a constant state of siege. The dream of reaching for the stars, of exploring the vast unknown, had died a quick and brutal death, replaced by the grim reality of survival against an implacable foe. Unbeknownst to the beleaguered humans, a new threat was emerging from the depths of the cosmos. Shokoy, a being of immense power and terrifying ambition, had set his sights on conquering the galaxy. He was an aquatic overlord, a creature of myth and legend, whose origins lay in the swirling chaos that existed before time itself. His form was fluid, ever-shifting, a monstrous amalgamation of tentacles, razor-sharp claws, and eyes that burned with cold, calculating intelligence. Shokoy commanded legions of grotesque creatures, nightmares given form, each one more horrifying than the last. He saw the Werpanot infestation as a sign, a weakness that he could exploit. Earth, already on the brink of collapse, would be the first domino to fall in his grand conquest. He would use the Werpanot as a weapon, a plague to soften up the planet before he moved in to claim it for his own. Shokoy's ambition knew no bounds. He craved power above all else, the power to dominate, to control, to shape the galaxy in his own image. And he would let nothing stand in his way, least of all a dying planet infested with mutated piranha men. Yet, even in the face of such overwhelming darkness, a flicker of hope remained. Hidden deep within the ruins of a once great library, a lone figure toiled tirelessly, his wrinkled face illuminated by the flickering light of a makeshift lamp. This was Wizard Zambalungot, the last of his kind, a repository of ancient knowledge and forbidden magic. Zambalungot had dedicated his life to studying the arcane arts. delving into the hidden corners of reality, seeking knowledge that had been lost for millennia. He had foreseen the coming darkness, the Werpanot curse, and the rise of Shokoy. He knew that the fate of humanity, and indeed the entire galaxy, rested on his shoulders. He had discovered an ancient prophecy, a forgotten legend that spoke of a way to break the curse, to defeat Shokoy and restore balance to the cosmos. But the prophecy was cryptic, shrouded in riddles and half-truths. It spoke of elemental stones, scattered across the ravaged earth, each one containing a fragment of the primal forces that held the universe together. These stones, if brought together, held the key to unlocking a power that could vanquish the darkness. But finding them would be no easy task. The earth was a treacherous place, teeming with danger at every turn. And time was running out. Zombalungot knew he could not do this alone. He needed a champion, someone brave and resourceful, someone who could withstand the horrors that awaited them. His gaze fell upon Dog Lodi, a young scavenger who had managed to survive against all odds. Lodi was small, but he was quick and agile, with a sharp mind and an even sharper wit. He had seen firsthand the devastation wrought by the Werpanot, had lost loved ones to their insatiable hunger. Lodi was hesitant at first, wary of the old wizard and his cryptic pronouncements. But Zombalungot saw something in him, a spark of defiance, a refusal to give in to despair. He told Lodi of the prophecy, of the elemental stones, and the desperate hope they represented. He spoke of the dangers that awaited him, the trials he would have to face. Lodi knew that this was a suicide mission, but he also knew that he couldn't stand by and do nothing while the world crumbled around him. He had lost everything to the Werpanot, and he would be damned if he let them take anything else. With a heavy heart and a steely glint in his eye, he agreed to undertake the quest. And so, armed with his wits, his trusty spear, and the faintest glimmer of hope, Dog Lodi set off into the wasteland, determined to find the elemental stones and save his people from annihilation.